Jesus of Nazareth normalized bullying, and I feel very strongly about this. He normalized targeting out an individual within a group, like what he did to Judas, and under the guise of moral condemnation or moral depravity, he bullied people, and he made it normal within Christianity to do the same to other people. But it looks good on the surface, doesn't it? It looks good because it's wrapped in this cheap ass wrapping paper of goodness. Oh, you're just helping them. You have to save their soul. You have to make them aware of how they're defective at all times and predetermine or use your insight to know ahead of time how this person's going to allegedly deceive you. But you're so ahead of them that they don't even know they're going to do that yet. So you presuppose them enacting this so-called betrayal, but you actually just manipulate them into doing sad things so that you can punish them. And that's somehow not abusive. Jesus Christ isn't abusive and evil. Like, I accepted that Yahweh is a piece of shit. Yahweh isn't a good God. He isn't real. He's a very malignant, psychopathic freak in the sky. But Jesus, oh, he's different than Yahweh. Bullshit. Bullshit. It only makes sense to me that Jesus is a narcissist because I've thought thoroughly about his childhood based on what we know. And I've only been able to put that together with psychology and very sparse hints within the Bible, because they conveniently left that out. But if you think about it, there's no way Jesus wasn't bullied and developed a narcissistic complex with that combined with his childhood. He was born to be this Messiah. His name means Yahweh saves. It is very clear to me that his destiny was predetermined, and that's why he became such a purposeful person. He was born into this small town. He was born from an alleged virgin. And you just think people immediately believed him. There are verses about him mentioning that the town that he came from didn't believe in him. And that really appeals to people who feel rejected in their small hometowns. But it doesn't fill in the gaps. It doesn't give the context as to why he was rejected. He was rejected because he was chosen, but not really chosen. He was set apart by this narcissistic familial framework. He was the golden child, and therefore he had a complex about him to where he was rejection sensitive. He was different, but he also decided to become a fucking bully, but do it in such a morally superior way, covert narcissism, that it's undetectable. So he works within the frameworks of the societal expectations. He's following the framework of Christianity, which is inherently abusive. So he becomes a very complex narcissist. He was more than likely rejected by his peers around him. And given that he was from a small town, reputation means everything. And I believe that Jesus was rejected so heavily by the social circle around him, and perhaps even by his siblings, who realized how much bullshit it was for them to be wiped out of the story and wiped out of mattering because he was the golden child, they weren't mentioned very much. I believe that Jesus decided he's going to reject the world first, but do it in a holy way. That's why he constantly says things like, this is not word for word, by the way. He constantly gives this attitude towards the world of leaving it behind. He is very apparent to me to have low self-esteem, a negative outlook on the world, and all of that can be the result of feeling constantly rejected and bullied, except he fucking repeats the cycle and bullies other people repeatedly. He constantly demeans others, humiliates them under the guise of giving them a miracle. And then it doesn't work. He only allows miracles to be witnessed by other people if he is sure within his mind that this victim doesn't have the support network to share that it didn't work, or that they wouldn't be believed because it's a woman. So he performs these fake miracles and then evades crowds because he doesn't want the confrontation or being told that he failed. So he's rejection sensitive in the fact that he doesn't want to fail. He's going to win at all costs, even if that means manipulating everyone around him into following this Messiah narrative. He's going to fulfill this prophecy at all costs. He is simply repeating trauma. And this is why I strongly believe that narcissists are traumatized people, but you cannot pity them and allow them into your space. Because what are they going to do? They're going to pathologically enact these scenarios and involve you. The cost is your life or your sanity, your stability, and Jesus took that away from everyone around him. He was a parasitic person. So when it comes to non-duality, Jesus does not represent it. He follows the same dualistic, narcissistic structure in which people are divided. He himself said that he came to divide families against one another with a sword. He himself is one side of this narcissistic dual matrix. He does not supersede it. He's just a bully, but he's powerful. He's powerful in the sense that he's magical. He embodies feminine and masculine characteristics. He's doing his best to appear non-dual, but he is not. He is human. He is not part God. He is not of God. No. If anything, if he is truly a part of God, Holy Trinity, whatever, he obviously is the golden child and represents all of the insidious characteristics of the narcissistic parent. And he makes it look very, very good. I didn't want to go there when I started initially saying that I used to think that Satan or Lucifer was the scapegoat. I didn't want to make that connection. Why is that? The fact that I didn't want to make that connection is very indicative of me being threatened or influenced by something I'm not aware of. Because you don't say, fuck Jesus, right? He's Jesus. He's like the popular kid. He saved us all, right? But not really. But we have to give him the credit after he degrades and humiliates us while pretending to perform miracles on us. That's crazy. And the reason why I'm an atheist is because Satan or Lucifer, I know there's confusion around Lucifer and Satan and blah, 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 whatever. Lucifer and Jesus are both a part of this matrix. They are both part of this narcissistic family dual matrix algorithm. It sounds like I'm throwing out random words, but this is an algorithm. It's very predictable. if you understand how it works. But there is no way that either of them can fuck with me because they're both attached to their abusive parent. Therefore, neither of them can be trusted. I believe that Lucifer was inherently better in a lot of different ways. I still believe that he's the scapegoat. But there's no way I'm going to run to him and feel, oh, you're really the good one when he's doing God's dirty work. Why would you ever trust someone like that either? Because Jesus was bullied, more than likely, he is all powerful in the spiritual sense that no one can see. It's very reflective upon his internal isolation from being, the Messiah, in quotations. He is so powerless that he is seeking the ultimate power that he can get in God. That's why he appears to me throughout the Bible to have passive suicidal ideations, to look forward to the afterlife rather than this life. All the things he was promised in the Bible. He wants to leave this world behind because it is corrupted and there's no saving it. We have to go to heaven. He's already given up on being accepted in this world as the Messiah, but he cannot or does not understand that he's not the Messiah, and all of this is just trauma. But he reenacts this same narcissistic algorithm and covertly bullies people thinking that he's doing something good. He's a victim of Christianity just like the rest of us. Well, he's a victim of Yahweh or the Old Testament. Christianity came after, Jesus Christ. And I don't think that he deserves the label of Christ. So he's powerful in the spiritual realm. And he can sometimes do miracles because it's not something you can disprove about him. That's a part of his narcissistic framework. They always armor themselves with complexes that cannot be disproven, that things that you'd have to dig deeper into in order to understand them. You waste a lot of time analyzing these narcissists. And that's exactly what they want because they get supply out of it. They get supply out of being different. That's why I said that he wants to reject the world first. He wants to reject people first. And it's very apparent to me, the way that he treated his followers, that he gets off on rejecting them first. Mary Magdalene is very apparently in love with him based on the depictions and, a few verses. He wants to reject her first. He's a virgin. And the fact that he decided to be a virgin is, I already indicated that he couldn't get married because he was homeless and broke at 30. Customs were different back then. You do not marry a broke man. But I believe that he was copying his mother because his mother was an alleged virgin birth. She was a child when she gave birth to him. She raised Jesus as a very immature person who never got to heal. And Jesus reflects that narcissistic wiring that Mary embodies. But he wants to be better than her because he also is a misogynist. And he's also very covert about that too. He wants to embody feminine energy and masculine energy because he feels abandoned because he wasn't raised right. He was raised by narcissists. He was raised in that environment and became one himself, except he doesn't realize it because he's actually the golden child. And the golden children get abused too. You know what? I believe that Jesus's persecutory complex or his victim mentality combined with his narcissism, he sets up his followers for failure and rejection. The same way that cults operate, they weaponize language, and they get their followers to do the same thing. Their followers go out, they say the same words as Jesus, and of course it's very invasive. It's harmful towards people, especially when they don't follow the faith, because you're judging them according to this moral framework that's inherently flawed, and you're treating them like garbage. You're treating them poorly because they need to be saved. Then when you're rejected by those people, it feeds into your persecutory complex, and then it confirms that you are indeed chosen and set apart. But it's just setting you up for failure. Jesus followed the same scripts that he learned from Yahweh, and then he taught it to the rest of humanity. But because his narcissism reflected Mary's narcissism and Yahweh's narcissism, and created a new form of narcissism, it becomes even more complex and hard to detect. Therefore, Jesus is he's such a complex narcissist. His followers go around the world using the tactics of a narcissist and not understanding it, harming people psychologically, emotionally, picking them out amongst the crowds, and then they feel, oh, I'm rejected too. Like Christ said that he was rejected once too. Therefore, I guess I'm on the narrow path and no one else understands, when they're just being jerks to people. Christianity makes you be a jerk to people and you don't even realize it. Why is it so different from Yahweh's narcissism? Because Yahweh is an abuser. He's like the abusive parent. Jesus is his son. Jesus is so enmeshed with Yahweh. He's the golden child that Jesus cannot separate himself from Yahweh. Therefore, they are one, but yet separate. That's the parental enmeshment right there. Yet, because narcissists intentionally set you up for failure like Yahweh did, Yahweh sort of abused Jesus. He's not technically his son. I guess we're all children of God or whatever. But Jesus was abused by Yahweh through the systematic structure of Christianity and the way that he was brought up to be the Messiah. So it's clear to me that this mechanism was brainwashed into Jesus, that Jesus brainwashed into his followers, because ultimately Yahweh doesn't want the child that he's abusing to be liked by anyone outside of his narcissistic reach. That's why only Christians will accept him and then reinforce this persecutory complex. Only other people within the web of this delusion can bond and affirm that they're chosen. They're chosen by an abuser. Do you get what I'm saying? So basically, Jesus wants to be liked by people outside of Yahweh's narcissistic reach. And I theorize that he would not be able to voice that because he's not only a victim of abuse, but he's narcissistic himself. And he's trying to convince himself that that's all he wants. He definitely wants to go to heaven and sacrifice himself and do everything in the name of Yahweh. And I believe that he was bullied because you go around telling everyone that you're the Messiah. They're not going to like you very much, especially when they grew up in such close proximity to you. That's why the people around him or in his village didn't believe him, because they knew Mary personally. They knew him personally. They knew that he was a jerk. So it was very narcissistic of him to silence everyone who opposed him or to dismiss them. What do abusers do when people are trying to tell the truth about them? They oppress them. He did that to everyone who disagreed with him. There's no way he's not a narcissist. Anyway, I guess I'm gonna go. You have a wonderful fucking day. Goodbye.